Finally getting around to sharing my experience wedding venue shopping in Mexico City and San Miguel de Allende. I went in the month of May and I toured almost 12 venues. In Mexico City, we only saw 4 venues, but the few venues that we did go see were really interesting. I wanted to consider Mexico City because I love Mexico City. I have a deep connection to the city. I also think it would be so easy for people to get direct flights into Mexico City, making travel a little bit easier. So let's get into the actual venues. I'm gonna go through each one and kind of give you the pros and cons for each. First venue we saw was General Prim. There were 2 event spaces right next door to each other, so we were easily able to tour both of them. First space, you walk in and you see this really big mural, which I am not the biggest fan of. I think it's beautiful, but I think it's so colorful that it really kind of clashes with whatever design you're gonna have for your wedding. I did not love that. I can't really envision like my reception space in there. This space also included rooftop access, which I thought was really cool because you have an additional space that's separate from the reception space to do like a cocktail hour of some sort. The stairs leading up to the rooftop are all wood and crickety, and imagine walking up that in a wedding dress or in really formal attire. I just didn't think that it was like the best. Moving on to the second space next door, I love the setup. I love that the reception space could be in the middle of the room, and then on the second story there's this open balcony that you can see the space from ahead, and I think that balcony space would be really cool for cocktail hour. There's also little pockets and rooms around the reception area that you could add couches and chairs. Like, you could really make the space what you want. I could definitely envision it a lot more in this second space. The next venue is Liverpool. I think this space was so stunning. I loved the outdoor garden, although the fountain does not work. It's not functional, which is a shame. You can't have music playing very late outside, so what they recommend is moving the DJ inside. So because of that, it also was hard to really envision the event in that space, despite how beautiful it was. The next venue is Casa UC, which is a recommendation I got from my dad. I really loved the outside of the building. I think it's so beautiful. I think the majority would be outside. There's not that much space to have like a cocktail area. Interior, I don't necessarily love, and it's more like little offices inside. I don't think I would want to take my wedding photos inside. But other than that, it was really nice. I just wanted to consider it because my dad asked me to go see it. The last venue in Mexico City was the most promising. It's called Museo Casa de la Bola, and it was stunning. It has such a stunning garden. It has a patio, so you could do cocktail hour outside. You could even get married out there. You don't have access to the second floor because that is where the museum is, which is open to the public during the week. Again, it was kind of just hard to envision the whole event come together because the space is so empty. You have to use your imagination and see what other people have done in the past. I just don't know if any of these were my wedding venues, you know? It was great to see. I loved Mexico City. My fear having it in the city is that it just kind of feels like any other day when I want my wedding to feel like the event, you know? Getting ready, there's practically no rooms to get ready. I think I would want to do that in the comfort of my hotel room and get a suite and do it with all my bridesmaids. That would be another location. So I think there's just like so much going on that I want it to be a little bit more, you know, all together. So when I tell you, when I went to San Miguel de Allende, it was like a night and day difference. Immediately upon arrival, I thought the town was so beautiful. Felt like I walked into a storybook. I could see it already. So I was really excited to get into looking at venues. So the first venue we saw was Casa Feliciana. It's a walking distance if you're staying in the city center. What drew me to this venue is the color, like this deep red, almost terracotta color, and I thought that would be so beautiful in photos. Patio where you would have cocktail hour holds less people than the reception space. They also have an additional space on the rooftop, but again, it holds less people. And I guess you could have both spaces open for a cocktail, but I wouldn't want my party to be split into two, you know? There are rooms that you could book out in addition to booking the space. The rooms are along the reception area. So if you are getting ready, or if you're like staying in the hotel and you want to go back to the room and step out, you're stepping out right into the party. And I don't know if I love that. I wanted there to be some separation or privacy for the people who are actually staying on the property. The bathrooms on the property, there are, I think, only 2 stalls for like 200 people, and I just thought that was not enough. Herencia de Allende was one of my top favorites. This one is outside of town, about 15 to 20 minutes. So you do have to think about the transportation costs of your guests. What I will say is that everything can be found on site, which I really love. They have a chapel that guests can immediately get seated and watch the ceremony. From there, the space leads into some open space and you cross this really pretty bridge, and then you have cocktail hour where people can come and just get drinks and relax. And then from there, the space leads you up to the venue where the reception is gonna be held. The space flows so nicely to where it makes the experience of the guest really nice. And I think that's the most important thing for me. There's also villas on this property, so our immediate families or our bridal parties can stay on site with us. And they're all separate and tucked away, so you don't really see them. There's also a beautiful pool that the bridal party can hang out on the day of getting ready. As much as I loved it, I fell in love and was even thinking, I think this is it. I think this is my venue. It might be too big of a space because the reception area can hold up to 500 people. And I just don't think we're gonna invite that many people. I think we're looking at like 120 max. Does that make sense? As beautiful as it is, do we really need this much space? It was just something that we were considering. It's also one of the more expensive options. About 30,000, maybe 32,000, but you get so much with it. A couple nights stay. The restaurant breakfast is included. There's a restaurant on site, which is really nice. There's AC in all the bedrooms. I think we're gonna end up having like a spring wedding. It might still be on the cooler side of things where AC is not a make or break. It is a nice to have. I want our guests to be comfortable. That was a really good one. The next one is Hacienda La Petaca, which is also 15 to 20 minutes outside of town. I think this one feels a little bit more traditional. It's also a very big property, so it feels very private. It doesn't flow as nicely. The chapel is on the very top high point of the venue. So you're walking through these tequila agave plants, which I think is very beautiful. The chapel on the outside is a little bit more traditional, kind of looks a little bit more like lived in and run down, which is beautiful, but it's a completely different vibe than Herencia de Allende. Forgot to mention that both of the chapels are also on the smaller side. So what most people do is that they put chairs on the outside of the chapel, and so that way there's additional seating. I love the event space. I think it's so beautiful. There's a lot of lush greenery around it. I think you can get away with not having many florals. The space works out for our size of guests, and it's less expensive. And that money that we're saving would go to transportation costs for our guests. So I think out of the two, Hacienda La Petaca makes more sense for us. Casa de la, I wanted to see this one because that's my mom's name and it's my middle name, so I thought it would have some significant meaning to have it there. It's also outside of town, about 10 minutes. I think this venue is really pretty. I really liked how the main reception area would be in the middle of the house and it was very open to the sunlight. I will say I did really like the bedrooms. I thought the bridal suites were very well lit. There's so much sunlight. I liked the design of them. I thought it was very chic. I thought it was very nice. I could see myself getting ready there. However, I just don't think the space made sense for how many people we're inviting. This space can hold up to 150 people. There's not enough bathrooms. There are a lot of steep stairs, so it felt very inaccessible for people. You know, if we had elderly family coming, there is a rooftop where cocktail hour would be, so I just think with it not being accessible to people, it just like didn't really make sense. Rancho Las Sabinas, this one was really beautiful and stunning right off the bat. There's actually some livestock on the property. I will say I didn't absolutely love the accommodations on site. It kind of felt like camp. Like the main rooms were beautiful, but the lofted areas had like a bunk bed situation that I didn't really love. I really loved the event reception space. When you go to the back of the property, you're met with this large field of grass, and what they do on the day of the event is that they lay down a pathway so you can walk directly across the grass, which I thought was really cool. The space felt very grand, a lot of possibilities to do with decoration and tents. Overall, it was a really pretty venue. I just don't know if it was exactly right for us. Casa Toro really blew my mind. I love this venue. It looks really unassuming from the outside because all you can see is the door that's covered in this beautiful vine, but you walk in and it just opens up to this incredible mansion looking venue. I really liked the hotel part. I loved the rooms. It sits on this hill in San Miguel, so all of the rooms had these beautiful views of the city. It was truly a fan favorite. This one also has a lot of stairs, but I think I would be more willing to deal with it because of how beautiful the venue is. But it's also the most expensive option, so that is my only thing. And then leading downstairs is the venue space. It also has a pool. It just felt very what I was envisioning a venue in San Miguel to look like, and having this like casa hacienda style venue. There is a church right across the street, so we would still be able to get married in a church and then have our guests walk to the venue, which is so easy. The guest experience will still be really great because people are going to be staying into town and they'll be able to walk directly to the church. They can walk to the venue and they can walk back to their hotel. I was really excited to see this one. I really loved it. Casa Cien was our very last venue that we went to go see in San Miguel de Allende. This one had the best accessibility because there is a ramp and a golf court transportation when your guests arrived. If you have grandparents who can't really take the stairs, they can take a golf cart straight up to the reception area. The reception is right next to where like the ceremony space is if you choose to get married there. And then the cocktail hour is a level above that. Guests will have to walk to the very top to get to the cocktail hour. I just think it ruins the element of surprise, so I really did not like the setup. They also had a pool. They had all these rooms that you can rent out. I did not like the rooms very much. I thought the design and decor just didn't really match my vibe. So although it was our last venue, I don't think it was my favorite. Those are all the venues we want to go see in Mexico City and San Miguel de Allende. We do have our top contenders. I wonder if you guys can tell based off of the feedback that I gave each of them. I'm curious to know what your guys' favorite venue is, just based off of my pros and cons and the videos that we took while we were there. I'm really curious because we need to make a decision relatively soon, so that way we can continue the wedding planning process. So I'm actually glad that I did this and revisited my pros and cons for each venue, because it kind of gives me a better idea of which ones I'm leaning towards. Let me know if you guys have any thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear them, and I'll be sure to keep you guys updated as the process goes on.